This last September, in 2025, Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I wanted to be a part of a vigil to honor Charlie Kirk, and it became obvious to me pretty quickly that both our campus and any student organizations on our campus were not going to hold one. So me and my friend Ben, we organized our own vigil. We got about 20 people to come out. We prayed together, we worshiped together, and I also gave a brief sermon. This was that sermon.
I'm really happy that we were able to organize this and put this together. I'm so happy to see so many people from different clubs and groups, and even off campus as well. Today we're gathered in memory of Charlie Kirk. Not only was he a political activist, but also a Christian activist and activist for human rights as well. Last Wednesday he was shot at a college similar to ours, a little bit bigger. And I find that at times like these, it's easy for us to stay away or go away from our faith in Jesus Christ. To say, how could he let something like this happen? How could he allow someone like this to die? He wasn't a murderer, he wasn't a criminal, and yet he's dead. I think this gives us a good opportunity to come closer to Christ. Ever since last Wednesday, I had 3 Bible verses going through my mind. 3 teachings of Jesus Christ. The first one, he says, "Blessed are those who are persecuted in my name." I had a hard time processing this. How could Charlie Kirk be blessed? It's hard because he left his family. How are we to think that he should be grateful at this moment? Jesus Christ says that those who hold on to their lives for their own sake will lose it, but those who let go of their lives for his sake will gain it. And he promises everlasting life for these individuals. Charlie preached the gospel whenever he could, did on college campuses, and he stood up for good Christian values as well. For this reason, I have reason to believe that he is with Christ now. That's why I think he's blessed. The second Bible verse that comes to mind are, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted." When you're in mourning, it's hard to feel blessed. You know, in that passage it means blessed now. Not blessed later, but blessed now. So I was dealing with that too. How am I blessed now? Mourning, grieving. I thought about it in the context of the movie Rocky. Love that movie. Rocky 1, he fights off against the world heavyweight champion. Everyone thinks he's gonna lose. He's gonna die, or not die, but he's gonna get knocked out in the first round, won't even make it to the second round. At the end of the movie, he lost the battle. He was bloody, he was battered, he was bruised. But at the very end, the crowd cheers for Rocky and not Apollo Creed, because they realize there's something bigger than winning the fight. He showed his bravery, and this nobody from nowhere came up and he stood up against the world heavyweight champion. He did what everyone thought was impossible. Similarly, Charlie didn't come from a real rich family, didn't have a PhD, didn't have a master's degree, he didn't even have a bachelor's degree. And he did what everyone thought was impossible. Single man, coming from nothing, changed the world. And I mean changed the world. There's people in New Zealand, Germany, Great Britain, all over the world talking about him, affected by this one man. I think that we're blessed in the same way that the crowd who got to watch Rocky lose is blessed. They cheered for him, and they were honored and blessed to be in his presence, the same way that we were honored and blessed to know Charlie Kirk. And even if we didn't know him personally, we were still in that stadium watching him. The last Bible verse that comes to mind is the challenge that Jesus Christ gives us to pray for those who persecute us. Obviously, we should be praying for his family, his children, those close to him, those who love them. But so much so should we also be praying for the man behind the gun who pulled the trigger. We should be praying for our peers on our campus that were saying hateful things and cheering on the shooter, just as much as we should be praying for the family. We shouldn't be praying that they're comfortable, that they live happy lives, and that they're fine. We should be praying for the best thing that could possibly happen to them, that they give their lives to Jesus Christ, that they change their ways. We're all filthy, rotten sinners, just like that man behind the gun. We have to recognize that, pray for him, and pray for our peers, our family, our friends, all these people who cheered on the man who pulled the trigger. With all this being said, I'd like to have us all enter into a prayer. If we could all break up into groups of 3 or 4, sit down, pray for our nation, pray for Charlie, pray for his family, and pray for the people who claim to be his enemies. Pray for their goodwill. Pray that we all give our lives to Christ. in a few minutes after we pray for a bit, we're all going to join up again in prayer, all one big circle. And then Ben here is going to lead us in some worship. And afterwards, I've got a big announcement. So if you can, please stay till the end.
The announcement that I had at the end of the sermon was that I had an employee from Turning Point Action there at the vigil with us that very moment. And I told the group that me and Ben were looking to start our chapter of Turning Point USA. We ended up doing so within a month after Charlie Kirk's assassination. We had both registered org status and sponsorship from Turning Point USA. We grew to be one of the most active chapters in the state of Wisconsin. We had weekly tabling meetings and also weekly debates. And it really didn't take all that much effort to open the door to have debates and to go tabling. I think that the chapter had a lot of benefit to the campus in general, simply because it gave a safe place to those who held conservative viewpoints. A lot of people on our campus who held conservative worldviews felt very, very scared to speak up about their views, and to have a group of people coming together that all hold similar views. We had a lot of people who held liberal views coming to our debates, but to have a safe place for those who held conservative viewpoints was very, very powerful. And the tabling as well was very good because it showed all the liberal students on our campus, which was, I would say, from my experience, the majority, or maybe just the loudest voices. But it was able to show our peers that people who hold conservative viewpoints are still human, in the same way that the right and the left paint the opposite side as demons, as people with no humanity, people who are idiots, and that's simply just not true. And it's important to see the humanity on the other side of the aisle. The person who's outside the table for Turning Point USA may have been the person that just helped you with your homework last week. At the end of the day, our country needs to heal. So love God, love your neighbor, enter respectful, open debates, keep an open mind, and stand up for the truth.